People felt buried under too many rituals, so they started looking for a simpler, more direct spiritual connection that made sense in their everyday lives. Your status in life was decided by the family you were born into, making dignity something you inherited rather than something you could earn through your own actions. Welcome to Understanding Holy Systems, where we explore religions as they are revealed through their own sacred texts and the meanings believers find within them. Religion became a tool for social control, enforcing a strict hierarchy that told people where they belonged instead of helping them find spiritual freedom. Ordinary workers couldn't just leave their jobs and families to pursue enlightenment, so they needed a faith that could be practiced within the realities of daily labor. Trying to escape society for spiritual reasons didn't fix its problems, leading to a need to find holiness and meaning right in the middle of household life. Different religious sects all claim to have the one true path, which created a lot of confusion and argument instead of bringing people clarity and peace. Religious labels became more important than personal belief, hardening into rigid identities that fueled conflict and division between different communities. Spiritual authority was passed down through family lines, not earned through wisdom, which caused people's trust in their religious leaders to slowly fade away. People saw hypocrisy in their religious institutions, watching leaders preach one thing and do another, which destroyed the moral credibility they once held. Punjab was geographically caught between powerful empires, creating constant pressure and a sense of urgency that shaped a unique and resilient spiritual path. Widespread political instability and violence made people feel afraid and uncertain, so they began searching for an inner stability that couldn't be shaken by outside events. Busy trade routes brought diverse cultures and ideas together, which naturally weakened the hold of rigid, dogmatic belief systems that claimed absolute truth. The focus on ritual purity promised holiness through external acts, but this completely neglected the more difficult essential work of inner transformation and genuine change. People went through the motions of religious ceremonies, but their inner intentions were often ignored, allowing the ego to remain untouched and in control. Guru Nanak began questioning the purpose of empty rituals, shifting the focus from just doing external actions to developing a deep internal state of awareness. Spirituality transformed from a checklist of actions to a practice of constant awareness, placing the responsibility for one's spiritual growth squarely on the individual. The declaration of Ik Onkar, or One Creator, dissolved the basis for religious rivalry by teaching that all paths ultimately point to a single, unified reality. The idea of one ultimate reality replaced the competing claims of many gods and prophets, which made the entire concept of religious conversion seem less important. Human differences were no longer seen as errors to be corrected, but as beautiful expressions of the one creative source, making peaceful coexistence a natural conclusion. Instead of withdrawing from the world to find truth, the gurus encouraged open dialogue, bringing spiritual questions and insights into the public sphere for everyone to discuss. Guru Nanak's extensive travels exposed him to incredible diversity, which softened any rigid certainty and demonstrated the many ways people connect with the divine. The gurus favored honest debate over one-sided preaching, encouraging people to think for themselves and reflect on teachings rather than just blindly obeying commands. Spiritual wisdom was shared through beautiful poetry instead of rigid commands, allowing deeper meanings to unfold gradually in the listener's heart and mind over time. Teachings were set to music in the form of kirtan, creating an emotional connection that allowed these profound ideas to reach and inspire even illiterate communities. Everyday activities like work and family life became sacred opportunities for practice, ending the old idea that spirituality was something separate you did to escape society. Work was no longer seen as a worldly distraction, but as a form of worship, gaining a new dignity by aligning people's faith directly with their means of survival. The Guru Granth Sahib preserved the Guru's teachings in written form, ensuring that this collective wisdom and memory would outlive any single individual. The sacred scripture became a portable source of authority, replacing the need for grand temples or monuments and allowing the teachings to travel anywhere with the people. By including the words of multiple saints from different backgrounds, the scripture embedded pluralism into its very structure, honoring diverse paths to truth. The sacred text itself became the ultimate authority, limiting the power of any single person and preventing the formation of personality cults around a charismatic leader. The lineage of 10 living gurus provided continuous and stable leadership, ensuring the core principles could survive and adapt over a long and challenging period. Each guru's leadership style evolved to meet the specific challenges of their time, allowing the system to adapt and respond to new contexts without collapsing. The gurus led by personal example rather than by force, making ethics a visible and inspiring practice that others could witness and choose to follow. The martyrdom of gurus like Guru Arjan and Guru Tegh Bahadur redefined the meaning of loss, showing that suffering for one's principles could have a powerful moral purpose. Intensifying persecution from outside empires increased the pressure on the community, making it necessary to develop a stronger, more defined collective identity. The formation of the Khalsa created a community of committed individuals bound by a shared discipline, strengthening their ability to stand together against external threats. Visible symbols like the 5Ks were adopted to mark a public commitment to the path, ending any ambiguity and making one's identity clear to all. This public identity made Sikhs easy targets and increased their personal risk, which meant that courage became a necessary and highly valued spiritual quality. A collective initiation ceremony, Amrit, spread responsibility across the entire community, decentralizing leadership and empowering every individual member. The community became self-regulating, guided by shared principles and collective wisdom, which dramatically increased its resilience and ability to govern itself. The practice of langar, a free community kitchen, actively erases social hierarchy by having everyone sit together and eat the same meal as equals. Sharing a meal together broke the powerful and divisive caste rules that forbade people from different social strata from eating with one another, weakening social barriers. The act of selfless service, or seva, became a primary form of worship, turning ethical principles into physical actions that benefit the entire community. The gurus actively included women in all aspects of spiritual and community life, challenging the patriarchal norms of the time and expanding the concept of universal dignity. Meditation practices were designed to directly target the ego's tricks and illusions, helping individuals reduce the inner conflict that stands in the way of peace. The ego was clearly named as the primary enemy of spiritual progress, which shifted the focus of blame from outside circumstances to one's own internal state. The discipline of Nam Simran, or constant remembrance of the divine name, trained the mind to stay focused and stabilized a state of peaceful awareness throughout the day. The practice of Van Chako, or sharing with others, helps dissolve attachment to material wealth and weakens the power that money and possessions can have over a person. Seeing the world through the frame of divine unity removes the threat from those who are different, as all diversity is seen as part of the same whole. The path to liberation was placed squarely within this life, not in some future heaven, which helped to soften the fear of death and encouraged full engagement with the present.